your car is cooled off. Next up, we are going to be going to our brake reservoir. To check it, you're going to want to grab a paper towel and you're just going to want to wipe off the sides until you find a min-max line, which I have just done right there. That is my max line, and this arrow over here is my min line. Very visible. Sometimes it's difficult to see the fluid inside. All you got to do is give it a little shake, but my fluid is just a little bit past the max line. I can see it sloshing around in there. So if that's all good, then you're all good. Now the next fluid we're going to be checking is our transmission fluid. This one is very difficult because some cars don't have it at all. Other cars are very difficult to find, and some cars it's very visible. Now, my dipstick I didn't actually know about until a couple months ago, which is right here. Now checking your transmission is the exact same concept as checking your oil. All you got to do is grab a new paper towel, pull up the dipstick, wipe it off, put it back in all the way down, and then pull it back up again. Then all you got to do is look and you'll see if your fluid is within range or not. Now the last fluid you have to check is the power steering fluid. Not all vehicles actually have this fluid. So to check, just look around, and if you notice the cap with the power steering logo, that means you have hydraulic. If not, you most likely have electric, and you can completely skip this step altogether. Now if yours is dirty like this one here, all you really got to do is take another paper towel or one that you've already used and just wipe it off a little bit. Now this reservoir, pretty much the same concept as the coolant and the brake. You just make sure your fluid is within this threshold. It's a very small threshold, but it's your threshold. As you can see, the fluid basically is right there. You can see the lighter color on this side, darker on this side, and if you're having a hard time seeing it, all you gotta do is shake it around a little bit and you can see the fluid moving. But since you've checked all your fluids, you're pretty much all good to go now. All you gotta do is close your hood. If you have hood shocks, all you gotta do is push against the shocks until you're about here, and then the hood should fall down on its own. But if you have a hood prop, you're gonna have to lift up the hood a tad just to get the hood prop out, put it back in the hook you found it in, and now you can either let your hood down gently and then push it closed against the latch, or to make sure that it's closed all the way, put about 6-8 inches up off the ground and then just let it go. For safety, just give it a quick tug. If it doesn't come back up anymore, that's all done. I would also like to preface by saying, if any of your fluids end up being too low, make sure you check your owner's manual and get the correct fluid for that system and fill it as soon as you can. Driving on low fluids can cause catastrophic damage and just be unsafe depending on the system that it's in, whether it's brakes, coolant, or even just oil. Not only that, you can't fill any system with any fluid. That could also cause damages or just not function. So you make sure you fill the right system with the right fluid. But anyway, my name's Joseph Bedard. I hope today that I've shown you cars aren't that scary. And I'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Ready to learn more about local history? I've got you covered with my latest Did You Know? This building right behind me is the Paul Martin Building, and it was built in 1934 as the Dominion Public Building. In 1994, the building was named after Windsorite Paul Martin Sr., who was the father of Prime Minister Paul Martin Jr. Now, during the course of its use, it housed federal offices like Canada Post, the Canada Revenue Agency, and the Canadian Border Services Agency, just to name a few. And in 2019, the City of Windsor acquired the building from the federal government for just $1, and it is currently being redeveloped into a boutique hotel. In 2013, the City of Windsor designated the building as a heritage site under the Ontario Heritage Act. Some exterior features contributing to the heritage value are the bronze plaques identifying post offices. That same year, the city offered it to the University of Windsor for $15 million to expand their downtown campuses. However, the university ruled out it becoming one of their campuses in 2018. For the MediaPlex and Zacatech Productions, I'm Zachary Balog. We have some awesome grads come through the MediaPlex, and they even have some good things to say about us here. Let's watch.
I have been a professional photographer for 4 years. I got my start at St. Clair.
I've been in radio 18 years. I got my start at St. Clair.
I've been a sports broadcaster for 4 years, and I got my start at St. Clair College.
St. Clair College really helped build the fundamentals of my career. Walking into this building and now being able to use everything that I learned in class has now enabled me to really reach out and expand my career in the working world.
St. Clair helped me get into radio by giving me the skills, writing, communication, organizational skills, but mostly they put me out of my comfort zone a little bit. I never thought I'd be in radio. If you would have asked me 20 years ago if you're going to be on radio, I'd say no way. I'd say I'm a really great bartender, and I might be a part-time writer, and that's about it.
Best part about my job is meeting new people and being a part of situations for which St. Clair can prepare you with. That's the beauty of this program.
St. Clair Journalism, start here, go anywhere.
We sent our resident WIF reporter to check out what's new this week. Here's Ken Pastushin.
The Windsor International Film Festival is almost at the midway point and plenty of seats are still available. Vincent Georgie is the chief program of WIF, and there's plenty of time to see some of the films he's recommending. One of Vincent's must-see films is Checkpoint Zoo. It's a documentary about zookeepers rescuing animals during Russia's invasion of Ukraine. No Other Choice is South Korea's entry for Best Foreign Film at the Oscars and the People's Choice winner at the Toronto International Film Festival. Sentimental Value won the Grand Prix prize at the Cannes Film Festival, and there's a lot of Oscars buzz around this movie starring Stellan Skarsgård. One of Vincent's hidden gems is the Canadian hockey movie Youngblood. It's a remake of the 1986 film starring Rob Lowe and Patrick Swayze. Be sure to stop by the information booth to check out the schedule and pick up a free program book. When purchasing tickets, don't forget to inquire about a student discount. For the MediaPlex News, I'm Ken Pastushin, and I'll see you at WIF 2025.
Spoken word and poetry are arts that we are delighted to feature here at the MediaPlex. Here is Kate Parsons.
What makes you think that you are more worthy than me? That I deserve to be blind to your games, when deep down I know in fact I can see? You dismiss my accusations, the repeated arguments, over and over the same painful situations. For I'm deranged and it's all in my head. What I hear with my ears and see with my eyes should never be said. For I'm crazy and I live in the past. There's no such thing as a narcissist, just me and my issues that I cannot pass. What makes you think you are more worthy than me, that I cater to you in your every desire? For I am your supply, and for now the top-tier supplier. I am to embody you, but still stand alone. For I shall have no needs, just requirements that I must meet. I know I have a voice, but for now I can no longer speak. I want to feed your addiction to entitlement and caress your ego. But the reality is, you discarded me, and I found peace in the pain of letting go. What makes you think you are more worthy than me? You're really not. I know this now, and I can finally be free.
Hockey has a rich history in Windsor, and none richer than stories about the Windsor Bulldogs from the 1960s. Kyle Simpkins has more.
Those are all Windsor Arena boxes.
Okay. What could these two men be searching for in the attic of a neglected arena?
What are these?
Those are just things we put in the dressing room.
They're searching for the remnants of the 1963 Allen Cup champion Windsor Bulldogs.
This is it?
That's all that's left.
Wow.
There's a trophy. Is that the...
Yeah, I went a bit for late.
Yeah. City of Windsor to the Windsor Bulldogs. 1962-63.
But before we start here, we need to go back to the 1920s, where this story begins. Back in the 1920s, the city of Windsor's footprint was changing, most notably with the building of the Ambassador Bridge. Around the same time, the Border Cities Arena was built downtown on the corner of Wyandotte and McDougall. When it was completed in 1925, it was hailed as one of the best arenas in Ontario. Skip ahead to 1946. Two local businessmen and avid sportsmen, Bill and Les Butcher, bought the arena. In 1961, Bill Butcher said his health didn't allow him the time to devote to an arena, so the Butchers sold it to a group of 6 men, including this man, local real estate agent and hockey standout, Lou Bendo.
My name's Lou Bendo, and I was the captain of the Windsor Bulldogs for 7 years. Came here in 1956, and I retired in 1963 after we won the Allen Cup. But I was the president of the Windsor Arena and co-owner at the time, and that's the only way I made the hockey team. I owned it.
In 1961, Bill Butcher came to Bendo and asked him to list his arena for sale. Months went by with no serious inquiries, so Butcher came to Bendo with an interesting proposition.
He said to me, look, Lou, he said, why don't you get a couple of guys together? He said, you guys buy the arena. I said, you kidding, Bill? I said, I don't have that kind of money. He says, form a consortium, a group of guys, and he says, I'll hold the mortgage on it. And we bought the arena. 6 of us got together and bought the arena.
With the ownership now in the hands of Bendo and his associates, it was time for the season to begin. With a talent-rich roster, Bendo wasn't the only standout on the team.
My name is Jack Costello, and I was a right winger playing on the line with Louis Bendo and Rio Cheverfis in the 1963 season.
My name is Jerry Service, and I played 2 positions. I started out as a defenseman, and in the last part of my career I ended up at center ice.
But before these guys could hit that ice, they needed to name their next head coach. Many people had turned down the job, including Hall of Famer Ted Lindsay. In October 1962, Stanley Cup champion Harry Watson got the job.
Harry Watson was a terrific coach. He knew how to handle his players.
He'd played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, so he was a hell of a hockey player.
And, a lot of guys had been on championship teams, and he basically looked after them, make sure that that everybody was happy. And
as a coach, he was just a very quiet man. He only spoke up when he needed to speak up. He knew the guys he was coaching. He knew they all had a lot of talent.
Although he knew what he was doing. He knew the players to play and when to play them. He was a very good coach. I liked Harry Watson very, very much.
During the 63 regular season, the Bulldogs ran into very little resistance from opposing teams, including a touring Russian national team.
Oh, that was a hell of a game. And the truth is, that game we played our best.
It was a great game. We beat them 9-2, I think it was.
And Harry had set it up where we were playing a different system against them, and we dominated that game.
The Bulldogs had finished the regular season in first place. Coach Harry Watson's expectation of making the playoffs had held strong. Now, standing between the Bulldogs and the Allen Cup were 5 rounds of playoff hockey, which the players described as...
Oh, unbelievable.
And none of the series were easy.
Tough series against Chatham. We had a hell of a series against Chatham.
Woodstock, then Moncton, and then...
We went up north, played Rouen-Noranda. They were a young French team, and they were a pretty good hockey team.
And then on to Winnipeg.
But we had a strong team. This team could have played in the American Hockey League.
Now through to the championship round, the Bulldogs were now champions of the East and ready to take on the best in the West, Winnipeg Maroons.
Every game was, with Winnipeg, it was very, very close.
When Winnipeg came in here, everybody talking about Winnipeg was going to come in and blow us out. They didn't realize the talent we had here.
I think it was probably 1 or 2 goals, no more than that, separating the score at any time.
I guess the closeness of every game and therefore the importance of every shift. Every period was, really close. You can check the scores in those games.
There was no planes then. Nowadays, then we had to play 7 games in Windsor, and the next year we'd go out west. So wherever it was Winnipeg or Regina or Moose Jaw, wherever it was, they played 7 games there.
The night we won, they couldn't present the trophy. I was a captain of the club, so I was to receive the trophy. When I was being interviewed by Ted Lindsay, we had to get up on top of the Zamboni to do the interview because there were so many people around.
Absolute crazy. The building was right full, and they were spilling over the boards. They were just going absolutely crazy. The city just went nuts. It was the best thing that ever happened to the city for many years.
In November of 2013, the Bulldogs got together for a reunion to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Allen Cup victory. A get-together of longtime teammates and friends just to reminisce of times past.
Oh, unbelievable experience just to see them there.
Well, it was wonderful, but the only problem is there's just too few of us left. What we did have is some good memories, and we told some good stories, and of course the lives tend to get bigger and bigger, but nevertheless they're more enjoyable. So it was very rewarding to see all those faces again.
Oh, it's great. Always good to see them. We used to meet the last Thursday of every month, but so the guys start passing on. There's not that many of us left around.
Being a part of a championship team is an accomplishment of a lifetime, and for these players, it was just that.
Well, you have a great deal of pride, and you still get a lot of people coming up to you in this day and talking about the memories they have of that team. Although I think we've over-milked it sometimes in the sense that we've celebrated the victory over and over and over again. But yeah, I'm very proud to be part of that team.
Every night we went to a bar. I finally, after a week, I took my son and my family and them and said, we're going to Moose Jaw. We got to get out of town or I'll be an alcoholic.
The memories of one of Windsor's most successful hockey teams may have faded over time, but for these men, it was a life-changing experience, being the 1963 Allen Cup champion, Windsor Bulldogs.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Zachary Balog, and make sure to set your clocks back and enjoy that extra hour of sleep. And you've been watching the MediaPlex Insider.
This has been a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
I think it's so important to be taught by industry professionals because they know what they're doing. And they're not just teaching because they read it in a book somewhere. They're teaching because they've lived it. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.
I learn by doing. I learn by reacting to a situation. St. Clair puts me directly into my industry. I'm dealing with real patients, real life situations. It's not just theory. It's not book work anymore.
I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.